This is a wildlife management area. There's a creek right over there, just out of sight. I'm on the DR650. Let's cover what I've done. Okay, I took the bag I had off of it and put this one on. I don't remember what all I talked about, what all I had gotten done, but last time I know I had put the pannier racks on it, and I think I had put the cycle rack on it too. You can see I got a bunch of bungee cords on there, and the reason is because last weekend was the Highway 127 yard sale, aka World's Longest Yard Sale, and I went and rode around and rode about 200 miles and stopped and looked around at some places, and I brought along, I have my big tank bag, which I used to use on the tank but can't use it with this tank, so I had it on the rack here, but I also put all these bungee cords on here in case I bought something and needed bungee cords to lash it down. So did that. Oh, got a bunch of bugs on the front of it that I need to wash off. I adjusted the headlight, but I still don't have it quite right, so I need to adjust it some more. Here's the main thing. I don't remember if I had the big gas tank on it yet when I did the last video. So that's a Cherbis or a Cherby, however you pronounce it. 5.3 gallon tank. And of course I covered that I put a 14 tooth sprocket on the front, which lowers the gear ratio a little bit. Still not low enough by any means, but it comes with a 15. And man, you can still tour on the highway with the 14 on the front, and it's still not low for real off-roading. It's really not a great bike for real off-roading, but that's what my TW200's for. But it does fine on gravel roads. And anyway, I've got it on reserve right now. Let's put it back there, because I like to run it on reserve for a few minutes when I first start out, and I just had not changed it back. But the reason is because reserve draws from a lower point, and so if any little bit of water or whatever had gotten in there, then that's going to work it on through. It's not going to stay there on the bottom to mess you up when you run it down to where you actually need reserve. So that's why I do that. So I did some tuning on the carburetor very early on. Right now I'm at almost 1,200 miles. So I would have more than that if the weather were permitting, but I don't ride as much in the summer as I do in spring and fall. I even ride some in the winter, but summer is it's usually either too hot or too rainy, and it's kind of been alternating between the two this year. But this is for my gas can. I think I had it on it last video. And let's see, I just put this Trailtech Vapor on it, trip computer, and I've got it set to make it think it's got a huge front tire on it. So at 70 miles per hour it reads 299.9, which is the maximum it can read. And the reason I'm doing that is, like I said, I've got just under 1,200 miles, and I'm trying. The Vapor has an odometer built in that's non-resettable, and it's permanent. And so what I'm trying to do is catch it up to what the real mileage is, catch it up to match the factory odometer. So anyway, what this adds is, for one thing, once I get it caught up, I can adjust it to where it shows my true speed, and check it against the GPS, because this speedometer, like most motorcycle speedometers, reads faster than what you're really going. So if you're reading 75 miles per hour, you're actually doing about 70. And with the Vapor, I can set it to where it reads my true speed. Also, the bike doesn't have a tachometer from the factory, and the Vapor has a tachometer. It also has an ambient temperature and engine temperature gauge, which I put the pickup. It's got the little tab right there. You can see it, and they advertise that you should put that underneath the spark plug, but I put it on this instead. And what this is, and I later read in the service manual that you should not pull this bolt out. When I pulled it out, I saw that it was a long bolt with a smooth section on it. And what it is, it's a pivot bolt for the cam tensioner. And when you pull that out, the tensioner can fall down into the case, and then you've got to pull the top end of the engine off to get to it. And I got lucky and that didn't happen. So anyway, I'm glad it didn't. But you know, once you get it there, that is a good place to take a temperature reading. But there are better bolts to use. There are not many, but that's just you're taking a chance by using that one. Okay, so that's about it, I guess. I want to get a smaller tank bag, because this cap being right in the middle and it being pretty tall and everything, it doesn't give me much room to put a big tank bag on. So what I'm thinking about doing is hanging a couple of pouches from the sides, and then getting a small tank bag that's got the clear part on the top, and that has straps instead of magnets, because with this plastic tank, magnets don't work, obviously. So anyway, that's just about a update of what's going on with it. I'll cover real quick. I talked about the carburetor tuning before, but I found out, although it was running pretty well, it was only getting about between 40 and 45 miles per gallon at a gas. And I noticed that the miles per gallon was down a little bit. Well, I found out that it's not recommended unless I pulled the rubber snorkel, air intake snorkel, off of it, because that's the recommended first mod, because the intake is kind of restricted on these. And so pulling that snorkel off helps with intake flow a little bit. And what a lot of people do is they'll cut holes in the top of the air box and put a more free-flowing exhaust on it, and some other things. And so what I had done is I had removed the plug over the idle air mixture screw so that I could adjust it, and it was tightened all the way down against its seat. So anyway, I did that and adjusted it, and I took the top off the carburetor and pulled out the needle and shimmed the needle up for greater mid-range fuel flow. Well, I found out from those who are in the know that if you don't go any further than just removing the snorkel, it'll run well doing that, but it'll also use more gas. So I went back in there and took that shim back out, and sure enough, my gas mileage went back up. So it seems to be doing 50 or maybe a little bit better than 50 now. So I'm pleased with that. And all right, one more thing I forgot to mention. I put a Excitomer, I think is the name of it, adjustable kickstand on it, because the factory kickstand was too tall, and I've got it at the high setting, the factory setting, and these have the built-in ability to lower it, and it even shows you in the service manual how to do it. It's designed to be that way. And there's a pretty good chance I'll do that at some point, just to try it, but I'm not in a big hurry. So it is at the stock high setting, but even so, the original kickstand was too high. So I got this one, and it's adjustable from stock length all the way down to about 3 inches shorter. And I've got it set about 1 inch shorter now, which works better than the stock length. So I just did that yesterday. This is in fact my first ride with the new kickstand on it. It also has a slightly larger footprint, so that it works better on soft ground. Okay, so thanks for watching.